What if I told you that a single penny, not a gold coin, not a silver dollar, but a plain old Lincoln cent from 1982, could be worth up to $3 million, and you might already have it sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the twist: this penny has no mint mark. It looks ordinary. Most people have tossed it into a jar or spent it without a second thought. But collectors, they know, they've been searching for it quietly, carefully, because owning one could change your life. So now you're probably asking what makes this little coin so special. Why 1982? Why no mint mark? And more importantly, could your penny be the one? Before you rush to check your coin jar, wait. Because if you don't know exactly what to look for, you might pass right over, just like thousands of people already have. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the shocking truth about the 1982 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, its secret origin, the tiny difference that turns it into a fortune, and a real case where this exact coin stand the market with a value as high as $3 million. But first, let's take a step back and discover how this all started, because once you understand why this penny matters, you'll never look at loose change the same way. Again, 1982 wasn't just another year in American coin history. It was a turning point. Inflation was rising. The cost of producing copper pennies have become unsustainable. So the U.S. Mint made a decision that would forever divide collectors. They began shifting from copper to zinc. But during that chaotic transition, something strange happened. Several variations of the 1982 Lincoln penny were struck. Some were copper D for Denver, others didn't. But there's one version, the rarest of them all, in 1982 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, World, Pennsylvania, with no mint mark. It feels heavy in his hand, not like the others. He almost throws it back, but something tells him to hold on to it. Later, at a coin show, a dealer goes pale. When he weighs it, turns out it's one of the few known copper versions from Philadelphia, the kind that shouldn't exist. That penny, it's now insured for $3 million. But what's even crazier, no one knows exactly how many are still out there. Some believe there are less than 10 others. Jars or forgotten boxes, just waiting to be found. Did you know most coins minted in Philadelphia before 1980 didn't have mint marks, but by 1982 the rules were shifting? This makes a note suspicious, and valuable collectors call it a phantom variety. Dealers whisper about it at auctions. It's a story of error, transition, and hidden wealth. And unless you know the details, you'd walk right past it. So what does this mean for you? Go to your coin jar, that dusty drawer, or the little box you keep your keepsakes, and pull out every 1982 Lincoln penny you can find. Then check the mint mark. If there's a D, it's not the one. But if there's no mint mark at all, don't get excited just yet. The next step is weight. The rare version is copper, meaning it weighs 3.11 grams. The common zinc ones weigh around 2.5 g. You'll need a precise digital scale, the kind jewelers use. The jackpot: absolutely don't attempt to alter it. That could destroy the value. Instead, have a professionally graded piece. GS and NGC are the two leading grading services. It confirmed your 1982 $3 million or more, depending on condition, demand, and visibility in the collector community. You can check recent auction results online, but be warned, most sales happen quietly off-market between elite collectors who don't want the world to know what they're holding. Now here's where it gets real. Most people won't act. They'll hear this story, maybe even believe it, but they won't check. They'll go back to scrolling, and that penny, if they even had it, will vanish forever into circulation. But you're not most people. That you're here because you believe there's still opportunity out there. You know, wealth doesn't always come from big deals or Wall Street. Sometimes it hides in the smallest places: a coin, a drawer, a decision. That is, so what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join a small group of people who didn't just collect pennies, they cashed them in for life-changing money. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket, and it could be sitting just a few feet away from you. Check your coins, weigh them, grade them, and don't let another $1 million penny slip through your fingers, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. What if I told you that a single penny from 1984, not a gold coin, not a silver dollar, but a plain old Lincoln cent with a tiny D mint mark beneath the year, could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars today? Sounds impossible, right? After all, how could something so ordinary hold the power to shock the coin world? But here's the truth. The 1984 D Lincoln penny hides secrets that only sharp-eyed collectors know. At first glance, it looks like every other cent: brownish red, slightly worn, and small enough to vanish in your pocket change without a second thought. But hidden in that coin are rare varieties and errors that have turned heads at major auctions. Collectors aren't just searching. They're hunting for these elusive pieces because they know one find could change everything. So why 1984? Why the Denver mint mark? That year, millions of Lincoln cents were struck, but during mass production, mistakes crept in. Dies cracked. Images doubled. Tiny imperfections slipped past inspectors. And in that chaos, some coins were born with a mysterious doubling on Lincoln's ear, the famous extra ear variety. Under a magnifying glass, it looks like Honest Abe grew a second ear, a bizarre error that transformed a 1-cent coin into a treasure worth thousands. Now imagine this. A collector in Colorado pulls a 1984 D penny from circulation, ready to spend it on a pack of gum. But something catches his eye. The ear looks strange. He sets it aside, curious. Months later, at a coin show, an expert confirms what he has, a genuine double ear 1984 D. That penny, once worth just 1 cent, now commands up to $15,000 in the rare coin market. But here's the twist. No one knows how many are still out there. Some believe only a handful exist. Others are convinced forgotten coin jars and dusty drawers are hiding them, waiting to be rediscovered. And while most people keep ignoring pennies, a few lucky ones have cashed in on this hidden jackpot. So what does this mean for you? Go grab your coins. Look closely at every 1984 penny with a D under the date. If you spot a strange doubling around Lincoln's ear, you might be holding one of the rarest varieties of the decade. Don't clean it, don't alter it, just have it graded by PCGS or NGC, and you could be staring at a small fortune. The 1984 D Lincoln cent isn't just a coin. It's a secret, a story, and maybe, just maybe, your ticket to unexpected wealth. So check your change. Because sometimes, history doesn't hide in banks or museums. It hides in the palm of your hand. Now. What if I told you that a coin so small, so ordinary, so overlooked, could be the doorway to life-changing money? Not a gold bar, not a silver dollar, but a plain brown penny. The 1985 Lincoln 1-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint, marked with a small letter D under the date. To the average person, it is just pocket change. Something you toss into a jar, something you drop on the street without even bothering to pick it up. But to collectors, this penny is a whisper of history, a story of transition, a coin that carries secrets few people know, secrets that have turned ordinary finds into extraordinary fortunes. The year 1985 was not chosen at random. It came at a time when America was deep into the copper-to-zinc transition, when inflation had pushed the U.S. Mint into producing coins more cheaply, when technology was advancing, but mistakes were still slipping into the system. By this time, most pennies were struck on zinc planchets coated with copper, giving them a deceptively familiar look. They appeared the same to the naked eye, but in reality, they were very different creatures. And in that difference, opportunities were born, opportunities that only the sharpest collectors could recognize. Now imagine a collector in Denver, going through a roll of pennies, half distracted, expecting nothing. He pulls out a 1985 with the D Mint mark. At first glance, it looks the same as every other. But when he tilts it toward the light, something catches his eye. Lincoln's profile doesn't look right. There seems to be doubling on the letters, or a strange die crack near the rim. He doesn't dismiss it. He places it aside. Months later, he learns the truth. This is not just a penny. This is a rare variety, a piece with an error so significant that collectors will pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars to own it. Why? Because error coins tell a story that perfection never can. The 1985 D Lincoln cent is infamous for showing doubling in some examples, known as doubled die obverse varieties. On some coins, Lincoln's ear looks doubled, creating the famous extra ear, effect that has stunned the coin world before. On others, the lettering appears thicker, shadowed, almost ghostly. And then there are the coins struck off-center, the coins with die cracks like lightning bolts running across the surface, the coins struck on the wrong planchet altogether. Each mistake turns a 1-cent piece into something far rarer, something chased by serious collectors who know the true value of imperfection. But even without errors, condition changes everything. A 1985 D penny pulled straight from circulation may only be worth face value, but in uncirculated mint state condition, with blazing red luster, the story is different. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC have seen these coins sell for hundreds of dollars when graded MS 67 or higher. And the few examples that climb to MS 68 red, coins so pristine they seem almost untouched by time, can cross into the thousands. Imagine that, a coin made to be worth 1 cent commanding $1,000 or more, simply because it survived the years in perfect form. Now let's step back. Why does this matter? Because coins like the 1985 remind us that wealth is not always hidden in vaults or locked away in banks. Sometimes it lies scattered across dresser drawers, coffee cans, dusty jars, and forgotten piggy banks. The coin you dismiss today could be the very coin that an expert dealer would recognize instantly as rare. Collectors are constantly searching, quietly, carefully, for those elusive survivors, and when they find them, the market responds with gasps and with bids that climb higher than anyone would expect. There are even stories of private sales, whispered transactions between elite collectors where sums far beyond auction records change hands. Why so secretive? Because owning one of the finest known examples of a common coin is like owning a masterpiece that only a handful in the world can appreciate. It is not just money. It is prestige, legacy, proof that you saw value where others saw nothing. And the 1985 D. Lincoln cent, in its finest form, has become just that kind of prize. So what should you do? First, search. Do not dismiss any 1985 penny with a D mint mark. Pull it out. Look at it carefully under good light. Check Lincoln's ear. Study the lettering. Search for cracks, shadows, or off-center strikes. Then weigh it. Though by 1985, nearly all were zinc, strange wrong planchet strikes sometimes slipped through. Copper pennies weigh 3.11 grams. Zinc weighs 2.5 grams. If you find a 1985 D copper when it should have been zinc, you are staring at a minting accident worth thousands. Second, protect it. Do not clean it, do not scratch it, do not rub it with chemicals. A coin's natural surface, its untouched state, is everything. Collectors will pay premiums for originality and deduct heavily for tampering. Place it in a safe holder. And when you are ready, have it graded. Peace GS NGC Annex. These names open doors. They turn suspicion into certification. They turn a coin into an investment. They transform your find into a headline. And finally, believe. Most people who hear this story will do nothing. They will nod, they will think, interesting. And then they will scroll to the next thing. But not you. Because you know that opportunity hides in plain sight. Because you understand that history, wealth, and destiny are sometimes no bigger than a penny. So go to that coin jar. Open that drawer. Dig out those forgotten pennies. Hold each 1985 D in your hand as if it might be the one. Because maybe it is. Maybe the coin that changes your life has already passed through your hands, slipped through your pockets, or waits quietly in your collection, unrecognized. Do not let it vanish again. The 1985 D. Lincoln 1 cent is not just small change. It is a symbol, a lesson, a treasure disguised as ordinary. And for the few who recognize its power, it becomes more than a coin. It becomes a miracle of fortune. So check your coins. Protect them. Grade them. And never again look at a penny the same way. Now. What if I told you that a coin as ordinary as a 1988 Lincoln cent? Not a gold eagle, not a silver dollar, but a plain brown copper-plated zinc penny could carry within it the power to transform your life. Most people glance at it for less than a second, spend it without thought, drop it in a drawer, or let it vanish into circulation forever. But collectors, they know. They whisper about it in hushed voices at coin shows. They examine rolls of change with patience bordering on obsession. And when they find it, their hearts race, because the 1988 Lincoln penny is not just another cent. It is a piece of history, a coin with mysteries, errors, and varieties that can lift it from worthless to priceless. The year 1988 may look unremarkable in coin history, but it holds a fascinating secret. America was deep into the era of zinc pennies by then. Copper had grown too expensive, so the U.S. Mint, since 1982, had moved to zinc planchets coated with copper. To the naked eye, they looked the same, but their weight had changed, their feel had changed, and their destiny had changed. And in 1988, while billions of these small coins were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, something slipped past quality control. Something that today fuels one of the most exciting hunts in all of numismatics. Collectors call it the 1988 reverse of 1989 variety. At first glance, the penny looks normal. Lincoln's profile, the date 1988, the familiar memorial reverse, all seems ordinary. But under magnification, the truth emerges. On some coins, the reverse was struck with the design hub intended for the following year, 1989. Look at the mint mark position. Look at the lettering in America. Look at the tiny details in the FG initials at the base of the memorial. These small differences transform the coin from common pocket change into a treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A simple slip of design, unnoticed by millions, caught only by the sharpest eyes, has created one of the great hidden gems of modern pennies. Imagine this. A man in Ohio opens a roll of pennies from his local bank. He expects nothing, just zinc cents, worn and dull. But when he examines them under a magnifier, he sees the telltale signs. A reverse that belongs to 1989, paired with the obverse of 1988. His heart pounds. He sends it for grading. Weeks later, the coin returns slabbed and certified as genuine. At auction, it sells for over $3,000. From 1 cent to thousands, all because he looked a little closer. But the story doesn't stop there. The 1988 penny also carries a world of errors beyond the famous variety. There are off-center strikes, where Lincoln's face drifts toward the edge of the coin, leaving a crescent of blank planchet visible. There are double strikes, where the design is imprinted twice, overlapping in eerie fashion. There are clipped planchets, missing chunks of metal like a bite taken from a cookie. Each of these errors transforms the coin into a collectible, fetching prices from hundreds to thousands, depending on severity and rarity. And then there is the condition factor. A circulated 1988 cent is worth a cent, maybe two. But in mint state, blazing with original red luster, things change. At grades of MS 66, MS 67, even MS 68, these coins cross into territory where collectors pay serious premiums. The finest known examples can sell for hundreds or more. And in some private sales, the price climbs even higher, whispered among dealers who know that rarity is not just about dates, it is about perfection. Why does this matter? Because the 1988 penny teaches us that history and value hide in plain sight. You might hold one in your hand today, dismiss it, spend it, and never know that you just let a treasure slip through your fingers. The difference between wealth and waste is not luck, it is knowledge. Knowledge of varieties, knowledge of weight, knowledge of detail. That is what separates those who profit from those who pass it by. So what should you do? First, search. Gather every 1988 penny you can find. Look at them under light, under magnification. Pay attention to the reverse design. Does it match the 1989 style? Does it look unusual? If yes, you may be holding something worth far more than a cent. Second, weigh them. By 1988, virtually all were zinc, weighing 2.5 grams. But mistakes happen. A stray copper planchet from earlier years slipping through the press would weigh 3.11 grams and would instantly be worth thousands. Imagine the headlines. 1988 copper penny sells for $10,000. It could happen. It has happened before with transitional errors. It could happen again. Third, protect them. Never clean your coins. Cleaning destroys value. Collectors pay for originality, not shine. Place your finds in safe holders, shield them from damage, and when you are confident, send them to PCGS or NGC for grading. A certified coin commands trust, respect, and real money. Without certification, even the rarest variety may be dismissed as ordinary. With it, your penny becomes an investment. Finally, act. Most people will not. They will listen to this story, nod, and then go back to ignoring their change. They will let their chance slip away. But not you. Because you know that fortune hides in the smallest things. Because you understand that opportunity does not shout, it whispers. And right now, the 1988 penny is whispering to you. So check your jars. Search your rolls. Look again at that penny you almost spent. Because the difference between an ordinary cent and a life-changing discovery is only a few small details. And those details could make all the difference. The 1988 Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is a key, a clue, a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold the greatest secrets. And if you have the patience, the knowledge, and the courage to look, you just might find that your next great discovery is already sitting in your pocket now. What if I told you that a simple brown penny from 1989, a coin so small, so ordinary, that you may have spent it 1,000 times without a second thought, could hold a secret worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Not a golden coin, not a silver relic, but a plain copper-plated zinc cent sounds impossible, doesn't it? But once again, history proves that even the humblest of coins can transform into treasures when you know exactly what to look for. The year 1989 sits at a fascinating crossroads in American coin history. By this time, copper pennies were gone, replaced entirely by zinc planchets coated in copper. They looked the same to the casual eye, but the weight told the truth. 2.5 grams instead of the heavy 3.11 grams of copper. Billions of pennies poured out of the U.S. Mint that year, most destined to be forgotten. And yet, within those billions, errors, varieties, and rare survivors slipped into circulation. Mistakes that today make collectors' hearts race and wallets open. Among the most famous is the 1989 Lincoln cent reverse of 1988 variety. At first glance, it looks like any other penny. But under magnification, it reveals the reverse hub of the previous year, the spacing of America, the shape of the letters, the delicate initials FG near the memorial base. This tiny mismatch transforms the coin into a sought-after variety, with collectors willing to pay serious premiums. A coin struck by mistake, caught between two design generations, now worth far more than its face value. But that's not the only treasure hiding in 1989. There are double-die varieties, where the letters of Liberty, or In God We Trust, appear shadowed, doubled, ghostly. There are repunched mint marks, where the tiny letter beneath the date shows the evidence of being struck more than once. There are off-center strikes, dramatic enough to leave Lincoln's profile sliding toward the rim, or so subtle that only the sharpest eyes notice. There are die cracks, cuds, clips, and lamination errors, each a reminder that even machines are not perfect, and that imperfection, in the world of coins, equals opportunity. Now imagine this. A young collector in California opens a roll of pennies bought from his bank. He expects nothing, just another hour of searching for fun. But then he stops. One 1989 cent looks different. The reverse details don't match the others. He sets it aside, puzzled. Weeks later, he sends it for grading. The results come back, a genuine reverse of 1988 variety. Suddenly, his 1-cent coin, worth almost nothing in daily life, is valued at over $3,000 on the open market. That's the magic of knowledge. That's the reward for paying attention. Condition adds another layer. A circulated 1989 penny may buy nothing more than a thought. But in mint state, blazing red, untouched by time, the story changes. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have recorded 1989 cents in MS 67 and MS 68 red selling for hundreds, even over $1,000. The top pop survivors, the finest known examples, are like jewels disguised as pocket change, fiercely fought over at auctions, whispered about in private deals. For elite collectors, owning the best of a common coin is as thrilling as owning a rare date, because perfection itself is rare. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Rumors persist of transitional errors, of 1989 cents struck on leftover copper planchets from 1982. If such coins exist, and experts whisper that a handful might, they would weigh 3.11 grams, not 2.5. Imagine finding one. A penny that shouldn't exist, instantly worth thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, because it defied the rules of its own time. These are the miracles of numismatics, the discoveries that make headlines, the coins that transform ordinary people into legends overnight. So what does this mean for you? It means opportunity is sitting in plain sight. It means you must never dismiss the pennies you hold. Gather every 1989 cent you can find. Study them. Compare them. Weigh them. Look for the reverse of 1988. Look for doubling, cracks, off-center strikes. Protect them, store them carefully, and never clean them, because a coin's natural surface is its greatest strength. When in doubt, submit it to PCGS or NGC. A certified coin is not just a penny. It is an investment, a verified treasure, a ticket to serious money. Most people will never do this. They will listen, they will nod, they will think interesting, and then they will move on. And in doing so, they will let their chance slip away. But not you, because you are here, listening, searching, believing. You understand that history whispers, that fortune hides in the smallest details, that destiny sometimes weighs only 2.5 grams. So check your jars. Search your rolls. Open that box of forgotten change. Hold every 1989 penny as though it could be the one, because maybe it is. Maybe the coin that changes your life has already passed through your hands, slipped into your pockets, or waits quietly in your drawer unrecognized. Do not let it vanish again. The 1989 Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden value, a reminder of overlooked opportunity, a story of mistakes turned into miracles. And for the few who take the time to look closer, it becomes more than small change. It becomes proof that even the humblest objects can carry the greatest rewards. So the next time you see a penny from 1989, don't ignore it. Examine it, respect it, treasure it, because your future might just be hiding in that tiny circle of copper-plated zinc. And one day, that simple coin could be the miracle that changes everything. Now, to today's extraordinary numismatic journey, where we uncover the astonishing secrets of the 1990 United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin. At first glance, this coin may appear like an ordinary penny, something you have seen in your pocket thousands of times, something you might even ignore or let slip through your fingers without a second thought. But hidden within this small copper-plated treasure lies a story so powerful, so shocking, and so packed with history, that it transforms a single cent into a dazzling symbol of wealth, rarity, and the endless mysteries of American coinage. The year 1990 was not just another year for the Lincoln cent. It was a year standing at the threshold of 2 decades, the end of the 1980s and the gateway to the 1990s. The United States Mint, with its branches in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, struck millions upon millions of Lincoln cents. And yet, among those countless coins, there are a few that carry errors, varieties, and hidden traits so unique that collectors are willing to pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars to secure them. This is where the story of the 1991 cent coin becomes larger than life. Let us first speak of the design. The obverse, or front side, proudly features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, sculpted by Victor David Brennerbach in 1909. For more than 8 decades, his image had graced the cent, reminding Americans of his legacy, leadership, and his vision for unity. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1990 surround this portrait, each carrying not only historical weight but also collector appeal. On coins struck at the Denver Mint, the small D mint mark rests just beneath the year, while Philadelphia coins famously bear no mint mark at all. Both types, however, have stories that will leave you stunned. Turn the coin over, and you encounter the magnificent Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. This design, used from 1959 to 2008, transforms a single cent into a canvas of artistry and national pride. And here is the detail that numismatists adore. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can actually see a tiny image of the statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Imagine, a coin worth 1 cent contains within it a miniature statue that most people never notice. This level of detail is what excites collectors and keeps the demand for Lincoln Memorial cents alive, decades after their minting. But what makes the 1991 cent coin truly special are the errors, the varieties, and the rare conditions that have surfaced over time. Among these, the most famous is the 1990 S-proof cent. Yes, you heard that right. The San Francisco Mint was supposed to include an S mint mark on its proof coins, but due to a striking error, a number of coins were released without the S. These coins, known as 1990 S-proof cents, are considered one of the rarest modern U.S. coins and can fetch prices that soar into the thousands of dollars. In pristine proof condition, such a coin has shocked the collector world, selling for over $10,000 in major auctions. Imagine holding a coin worth 1 cent, but actually valued at more than a brand new car. That is the breathtaking magic of numismatics. Beyond this, there are doubled die obverse and reverse varieties that continue to astonish experts. A doubled die occurs when the coin die itself receives multiple misaligned impressions during creation, causing doubling on the letters, numbers, or even parts of Lincoln's portrait. In the 1990 cent, varieties of doubling on the date and on the word liberty have been recorded. These subtle differences transform ordinary pocket change into treasures worth hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on grade and demand. Condition, of course, is everything. A 1990 cent that has been heavily circulated might only be worth its face value. But one preserved in mint state condition, glowing with luster, sharp strikes, and immaculate surfaces, is another story entirely. Collectors are willing to pay premium prices for such coins. In the highest grades, MS 67 or MS 68, 1990 cents have crossed the $1,000 threshold, and the demand is not slowing down. With every passing year, pristine examples become harder to find, driving prices upward. Now let's talk about the psychology of collecting. Why does a simple 1 cent coin command such attention? The answer lies in history, rarity, and human fascination with perfection. Every collector dreams of finding that one extraordinary coin hidden among the ordinary. The 1990 Lincoln cent, with its varieties, its errors, and its proof rarities, embodies that dream. It whispers to collectors, search your change. Look closely. You might be holding a fortune. Think about it. How many 1990 pennies have you encountered in your life? Dozens? Hundreds? Perhaps thousands? And yet, have you ever truly examined them under magnification? Have you weighed them, studied the mint mark, checked the date, looked for doubling, or inspected the surfaces for proof-like qualities? Most people have not. And that is why coins like the 1990 No-S proof or the high-grade mint state varieties slip under the radar, hiding in plain sight until discovered by sharp-eyed numismatists. This is not just a coin. It is a lottery ticket in copper, a silent treasure chest in your pocket, a chance to hold history and wealth in the palm of your hand. Every 1991 cent coin is a story, and every story has the potential to change a life. So today, I invite you, go back, open your jars of coins, check your piggy banks, and dig through that change lying forgotten in drawers. The 1991 cent could be waiting for you, waiting to reveal its secrets, waiting to turn a single cent into thousands of dollars. Do not let this chance slip by. And remember, when it comes to coin collecting, knowledge is power, patience is gold, and discovery is everything. The 1990 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin is more than just money. It is history, art, and fortune united in the smallest of packages. So check your coins, cherish what you find, and who knows, you might just uncover the next great numismatic treasure, a coin that turns your story into legend now. Dear viewers, to another breathtaking journey into the world of American numismatics. Today, we unlock the hidden story of the 1993 United States Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin, a coin so common in appearance, yet so extraordinary in what it represents. At first glance, this small copper-plated zinc piece may seem insignificant, something you might pass by without notice. But beneath its humble surface lies history, artistry, rarity, and a surprising potential for value that has stunned collectors and continues to shock the modern coin market. The year was 1993, a year that marked the early years of a new decade. The Cold War had ended, technology was rapidly transforming society, and America stood on the brink of the digital revolution. Yet even in such a fast-changing world, the United States Mint continued its timeless tradition of striking coins that would carry the story of the nation into the hands of its people. Among these, the Lincoln cent remained the most familiar, the most circulated, and perhaps the most beloved. The obverse of the 1993 cent carries the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, who first designed it in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. For more than 8 decades, Lincoln's portrait had symbolized strength, leadership, and unity. Surrounding him are the inscriptions: "In God We Trust," the nation's spiritual declaration, liberty, the timeless American ideal, and of course the date, 1993, etched in history. On coins struck in Denver, a small D, mint mark rests beneath the date, while Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark at all. Flip the coin, and you encounter the majestic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, standing proudly on the reverse. Used from 1959 until 2008, this design transformed the back of the cent into a symbol of democracy and unity. With careful observation, you can even see a tiny engraving of the seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, an almost hidden detail that elevates this coin from simple currency to miniature artwork. But what makes the 1993 Lincoln 1-cent so fascinating is not just its design, but the hidden treasures found among its many strikes. Errors, varieties, and high-grade survivors from this year continue to captivate collectors worldwide. Consider the striking anomalies, doubled dies, off-center strikes, and broad strikes that have surfaced from 1993 production. A doubled die coin, where inscriptions or dates appear doubled due to a misalignment during die creation, can turn an ordinary cent into a prize worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a 1993 cent with doubled lettering on Liberty or "In God We Trust," a rare mistake by the mint that transforms pocket change into a fortune. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank and the rest carrying a shifted image. These errors are instantly noticeable and command strong prices in collector markets. A dramatic off-center error from 1993 could sell for hundreds, depending on the degree of misalignment. But beyond errors, condition plays a massive role. Most 1993 cents you see in circulation today are worn, scratched, and dull. But those that have been preserved in mint state condition, with brilliant red luster, sharp detail, and pristine surfaces, are highly desirable. Coins graded MS 67 or higher have shocked auction houses with prices well over $1,000. Imagine a coin worth 1 cent suddenly valued at over 1,000 times its face value. That is the extraordinary potential of the 1993 1 cent. And let us not forget proof coins, struck with mirror-like fields and frosted devices for collectors. These special strikes from the San Francisco Mint, bearing the S Mint mark, shine with beauty and precision. In top grades, they too achieve impressive values, especially when flawless deep cameo examples are discovered. Now let us reflect on why people chase these coins. Why does a simple cent from 1993 command such excitement? The answer lies in human psychology. Every collector dreams of holding history, of owning something rare, of finding hidden treasure in plain sight. The Lincoln cent embodies that dream. It is a small piece of copper-plated metal that carries with it the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the artistry of American engravers, and the thrilling possibility of unexpected value. Think about this. How many 1993 cents have passed through your hands over the years? Dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands? And yet, have you ever stopped to examine them closely under magnification, searching for doubling, inspecting for mint errors, or considering their condition? Most people have not. And that is why treasures remain hidden, waiting for someone like you to discover them. Picture this, a jar of old coins sitting in your home, ignored for years. Among them lies a bright, uncirculated 1993 cent, flawless in every way. While others see a penny, you see opportunity. You send it for grading, it returns with a high mint state grade, and suddenly that tiny coin is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This is the reality of coin collecting, ordinary change becoming extraordinary wealth. Collectors also know that as time passes, surviving high-grade examples become rarer. Every day, coins are lost, damaged, or discarded. But those preserved carefully grow scarcer and more valuable. That is why the 1993 cent, despite its massive mintage, remains a target for serious collectors today. The message is clear: never overlook the coins in your pocket. Never underestimate the potential of a 1 cent piece. The 1993 Lincoln Memorial cent is not just money. It is history, it is art, and it could very well be your ticket to unexpected fortune. So I encourage you, dear viewers, search your change, open those old jars, look through your collections. Examine every 1993 cent carefully. You may be holding a treasure. You may be holding a coin that tells a story worth far more than a cent. And who knows? That one small coin could be the key that unlocks a life-changing discovery. This is the magic of coin collecting. This is the legacy of the 1993 Lincoln 1 cent. And this is your opportunity to uncover greatness hidden in plain sight. Now, what if I told you that a coin as small and ordinary as a 1994 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent could hold secrets that turn it from a piece of pocket change into a valuable collector's item? At first glance, it's just a penny, a coin you might toss into a jar, slip into a vending machine, or ignore on the sidewalk. But once you look deeper, once you understand the story behind this simple piece of copper-plated zinc, you'll never see it the same way again. The year 1994 was another chapter in America's modern history. Technology was booming, the internet was entering homes, and the United States Mint was continuing its work of striking billions of coins for everyday life. Among them was the familiar Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For over 8 decades, the image of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, had stared back at Americans from their smallest denomination. By 1994, this design was iconic, timeless, and deeply symbolic of American history. On the obverse, the 1994 cent features Abraham Lincoln facing right, his gaze strong and determined. Above him, the words "In God We Trust" declare the nation's faith. To the left sits liberty, the American ideal. Beneath the portrait is the date, 1994, with either a small D for Denver Mint coins or no mint mark for Philadelphia strikes. Every detail of this obverse connects the coin to Lincoln's legacy and the values of freedom and unity. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the Lincoln Memorial stands proud. 4 coins struck from 1959 until 2008, this reverse became a lasting tribute to American democracy. Look closely, And inside the memorial, you can see a tiny engraving of Lincoln's statue seated within, an incredible detail often overlooked by casual observers. Encircling the design are the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, and of course, the denomination 1 cent. Now, let us talk about why the 1994 1 cent matters so much to collectors today. While billions were minted, the year brought with it fascinating varieties, surprising mint errors, and opportunities for hidden value. One of the most sought-after varieties is the 1994 doubled die. Imagine looking closely at the date, the motto "In God We Trust," or the word liberty, and seeing a faint but undeniable doubling of the letters. Such an error occurred during the hubbing process, when the working die impressed the design onto the coin more than once, but slightly misaligned. A 1994 doubled die cent can be worth far more than face value, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. Another treasure is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing, pushed toward the rim, leaving a blank crescent of metal exposed. Dramatic off-center 1994 cents are instantly collectible, often selling for $50, $100, or even more depending on severity. Then there are broad strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, each one a reminder that even in the modern minting process, mistakes slip through. Every mistake becomes a rarity, and every rarity becomes an opportunity. But condition, as always, tells the biggest part of the story. Most 1994 cents you'll find today are worn, scratched, and dull from decades of circulation. But in high mint state grades, especially MS 67 and above, they become something entirely different. Brilliant, fiery red luster, untouched surfaces, and razor-sharp detail elevate these coins from common change to valuable collectibles. In auctions, certified 1994 Lincoln cents in the highest grades have sold for hundreds of dollars, shocking those who still think of them as worthless pennies. And don't forget the proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint. With their mirror-like fields and frosted devices, these coins were never meant for circulation. They were struck for collectors, and in flawless deep cameo condition, they can command strong premiums. A perfect PR, 70 DCM 1994 proof cent is a showpiece that collectors fight to own. Now imagine this story. A young collector opens an old jar of coins inherited from his grandfather. Inside, he finds dozens of pennies. Most are worn and ordinary, but one 1994 penny gleams differently. He examines it under magnification and sees clear doubling on the motto. He sends it to a grading service, and the results return: a genuine 1994 double die cent, certified in mint state condition. What was once thought to be worth a cent suddenly becomes worth hundreds, perhaps even thousands, in today's collector market. That is the magic of numismatics. But the most powerful part of this story is not just the coin itself, it's the opportunity it represents. Most people will never check. Most people will spend their 1994 cents without a thought. But the few who do check, the few who take the time to study and learn, will be the ones to uncover hidden treasures. Think of it. Billions of these coins were struck, yet errors, varieties, and high-grade survivors remain rare. Somewhere in your pocket change, in your piggy bank, or in a forgotten drawer, a valuable 1994 cent could be waiting. All it takes is awareness, patience, and the willingness to look closer. So what should you do? Start today. Gather every 1994 penny you can find. Examine them carefully for doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual features. Weigh them if necessary, because transitional planchet errors, even if unlikely, could exist. Preserve the best ones in protective holders. And when you find something promising, send it to PCGS or NGC for certification. A certified coin is trusted, protected, and valued far higher in the marketplace. And always remember this: while others scroll past, while others ignore the pennies in their change, you have the chance to discover something extraordinary. The 1994 Lincoln 1 cent may seem like nothing, but it is proof that greatness can hide in the smallest places. So check your coins. Search your jars. Look carefully at every detail. Because your next life-changing discovery might not be gold, it might not be silver. It might just be a tiny copper-plated penny from 1994. This is more than small change. This is history, art, rarity, and opportunity combined. The 1994 Lincoln cent is waiting for you. The question is, will you take the chance to find it now? What if I told you that a coin so small, so ordinary, a coin struck in 2004 with nothing more than a tiny D mint mark under the date could be worth far more than its 1 cent face value. Not gold, not silver, not even rare metal. Just a copper-plated zinc cent. The kind you've probably held 1,000 times and never noticed. And yet, collectors all over the world know that within the massive production of 2004, treasures are hidden. Rare errors, high-grade survivors, and special varieties that can turn this simple Denver penny into something worth real money. The year 2004 was part of the modern era of the Lincoln Memorial cent. Since 1982, cents had been struck on zinc planchets coated with copper, weighing 2.5 grams. Billions poured out of the mint each year, meant for circulation, meant to be spent, forgotten, and replaced. But in this sea of coins, the Denver Mint added its own mark of distinction. The small d below the date, showing where it was born. On the obverse, you see Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. His profile is familiar, iconic, and timeless. Around him are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2004, with that all-important D mint mark. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, stands the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. If you look closely, closer than most people ever do, you can even see the tiny seated statue of Lincoln within the memorial. Above it reads United States of America, beneath 1 cent, and just above the memorial, E pluribus unum. But here is where things get truly fascinating. Even though more than 3.5 billion Lincoln cents were struck in Denver in 2004, not all of them were ordinary. Some left the mint with spectacular mistakes, errors that collectors chase with passion. One of the most striking is the doubled die obverse. Imagine examining the date or the inscriptions and noticing that the letters appear doubled, shadowed, or misaligned. A true doubled die is not just machine doubling. It is the result of a mishub die, and these coins can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on clarity and condition. Then there are off-center strikes. A 2004 D penny struck 20%, 30%, or even 50% off-center creates an instantly rare collectible. Instead of a neat circular design, you see Lincoln's portrait sliding toward the rim, with part of the coin blank. Dramatic errors like this can sell for $100 or more. Other errors include clipped planchets, where a bite-like curve is missing from the coin, broad strikes, where the coin spreads wider than normal because it was struck without a collar, and die cracks and cuds, where metal fills broken parts of the die, leaving raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface. To error collectors, each one is a unique fingerprint of history. And don't forget proof-like errors or coins struck on the wrong planchets. While extremely rare, there have been cases in modern years where cents were struck on dime or foreign coin planchets. Imagine a 2004 D cent weighing the wrong amount, shining with a different color, and instantly becoming a numismatic treasure. But even without errors, condition is everything. Most 2004 D cents are now dull, worn, and scratched from years of circulation. But the few that survive in pristine mint state red condition, especially those graded MS-67 or MS-68 by PCGS or NGC, command serious premiums. In fact, auction records show 2004 D cents in MS-68 red selling for over $1,000 for a single penny. And why? Because perfection is rare, and collectors will always pay top dollar for rarity in any form. Now let's talk about proof-like quality. While Denver did not strike proof coins, exceptionally well-struck 2004 D cents with brilliant luster and sharp detail can appear proof-like. These eye-catching coins are highly desirable, especially when slabbed by top grading services. Think of this. Billions of people have touched 2004 D pennies. Most never looked at them twice. But a small handful of collectors discovered doubled dies, off-center strikes, or immaculate mint state examples. Those coins, pulled from circulation, protected, and graded, are now worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Picture this real-life story. A coin roll hunter in Texas picks up a $25 box of pennies from his bank. He searches casually, expecting only to fill a few holes in his collection. But then he stops. A 2004 D cent catches his eye. The strike looks strange. The letters seem doubled. He sends it for grading, and the results come back. A genuine doubled die, certified and valued at several $100s. His box of pennies has just paid him back many times over. This is not fantasy. It happens, and it could happen to anyone willing to look closely. So what should you do? Start by checking your change. Go through coin rolls from the bank. Examine every 2004 D cent with care. Look for doubling on the obverse. Study the reverse for anomalies. Check for off-center strikes, and weigh them if you suspect a planchet error. Preserve the best examples and never clean them, because cleaning destroys value. Instead, handle them carefully, store them properly, and if you find something remarkable, send it to PCGS or NGC. And here is the truth. Most people will never bother. They will hear stories of valuable pennies, they will nod in curiosity, and then they will go back to life as usual. Meanwhile, their chance, their treasure, will slip through their fingers. But not you. You are here, listening, learning, searching. You are ready to take action. And action is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary discoveries. The 2004 D Lincoln cent is more than small change. It is a reminder that value hides in the smallest places, that history can be held in the palm of your hand, that a penny can become a prize. Whether it's a high-grade mint state gem, a dramatic off-center strike, a doubled die, or a rare transitional error, this coin holds possibilities far greater than its size suggests. So go now. Search your jars, your drawers, your rolls. Look at every 2004 D penny with fresh eyes. Because your life-changing discovery may be hiding in the most ordinary place of all. In a single cent struck in Denver in the year 2004 now. Dear viewers, to another extraordinary journey into the world of rare and fascinating coins of the United States of America. Today, we set our eyes upon a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance. But once we peel back the layers of history, design, errors, values, and collector passion, we discover that it is anything but ordinary. I am talking about the 2007 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that carries with it over a century of tradition, the mark of a great American president, and a hidden potential for collectors worldwide. Let us begin. The legacy of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent is no stranger to fame. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person, a president, on its obverse. By 2007, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for nearly a century, becoming one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. The 2007 edition carries forward this proud tradition, but what makes it unique is its place in time. It stands at the doorstep of transition, just 2 years before the design of the cent was changed to mark the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth in 2009. The obverse, Lincoln's portrait. On the obverse, or front, of the 2007 Lincoln cent, we see the familiar, noble face of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His profile faces right, his expression dignified and wise, capturing the spirit of one of the greatest leaders in American history. Above his head, the motto "In God We Trust" stands proudly, while to his left, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, reminding us of the ideals Lincoln fought to preserve. To the right of the portrait, the date 2007 is engraved, along with the mint mark, D for Denver, S for San Francisco proof coins, or no mint mark for Philadelphia. The reverse, the Lincoln Memorial. The reverse of the 2007 cent features the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo and first introduced in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Every detail of the memorial is carefully depicted. Even the tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial is visible under magnification, making this design a marvel of miniature art. Above, the words United States of America arc across the top, while the national motto, E pluribus unum, is placed just above the memorial. At the bottom, the denomination is spelled out. 1 cent. The composition. By 2007, the Lincoln cent had long since transitioned from its original 95% copper composition to the modern copper-plated zinc planchet. Each coin is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. While collectors often favor the older, heavier copper cents of 1909 to 1982, the zinc cents are still full of surprises, especially when it comes to minting errors and rare varieties. Mintage numbers. The 2007 Lincoln cent was struck in massive quantities, as is typical for modern pennies. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 3.7 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced over 2.6 billion coins. In addition, the San Francisco Mint struck proof versions in far smaller numbers, designed for collectors and sold in special proof sets. But here's the fascinating truth. Even in a sea of billions, rare gems can emerge, coins with striking errors, unusual qualities, or simply flawless condition that set them apart. The collector's angle. At first glance, you might think the 2007 penny isn't worth more than a cent. After all, billions exist. But in the world of numismatics, rarity is not always about how many were made, but about how many survive in perfect condition or how many display rare errors. Collectors chase these high-grade examples and varieties with unshakable passion. Errors and varieties. The real treasure of the 2007 Lincoln cent lies in its errors and varieties. Some known types include double die errors, coins where parts of the design appear doubled, especially in the lettering or the date. Off-center strikes, coins struck away from the center, leaving part of the design missing. Clipped planchets, coins missing a curved section due to misfed blanks. Die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs of metal where the die was damaged. Proof errors, rare mistakes in the highly polished proof strikes from San Francisco. Such coins can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity and demand. Value in the market. So, what is the 2007 Lincoln cent worth? Circulated examples are worth face value, 1 cent. Uncirculated examples in MS-65 condition can bring $5, 10. High-grade certified coins in MS-67 or higher can fetch $100, 200, and in rare cases much more. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially in perfect PR 70 deep cameo condition, can be valued at $30, 50, or higher. Major errors, such as dramatic off-center strikes or double dies, can skyrocket in value, sometimes reaching into the hundreds or thousands of dollars. Stories from the collector community. Collectors often tell stories of finding gems in pocket change. Imagine buying a coffee, receiving change, and discovering a 2007 Lincoln cent with an off-center strike worth $500. Or picture searching through a bankroll and finding a flawless red example that, once graded, brings a $200 profit. These stories are real, and they keep the hunt alive. Why the 2007 penny still matters. You might be asking, why should I care about a 2007 penny? Because it represents the end of an era. In just 2 years, the Lincoln Memorial design was replaced by the bicentennial designs of 2009, and then by the Union Shield design in 2010. This makes the 2007 penny one of the last regular issues of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. It is both the closing chapter of one design and the prelude to another. Collectors will always treasure these transition years. A hidden opportunity. Here's the truth. Most people won't look twice at a 2007 penny. They'll toss it in a jar, spend it at the store, or leave it forgotten in a drawer. But collectors know better. They know that rarity hides in plain sight, waiting for the careful eye to discover it. If you take the time to check your coins, you could stumble upon a treasure hidden inside a coin that everyone else ignores. The 2007 Lincoln 1-cent coin may not be gold or silver, but it holds a wealth of history, art, and potential value. From its deep connection to Abraham Lincoln's legacy, to its place in the evolution of American coinage, to its hidden errors and varieties worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, this penny is proof that great things come in small packages. So the next time you see a 2007 penny, don't just pass it by. Hold it, study it, weigh it, inspect it under light. Because you never know, your little coin could be the one that changes everything.